Batman turned 85 this year, and that old man gets his own day every September. I don't mean happy birthday, Batman. No, happy Batman Day. And it's for all of us to celebrate. But let me tell you, 85 years is a long time. And old Batsy has had his fair share of ups and downs over the decades. So let's talk about the best and the worst of Batman. We have to talk about movies first, right? I mean, this is the category that the most people will probably have an opinion on. Not counting team-ups or cameos or the serials, there have been, what, like 10 Bat-centric live-action films? Not to mention, there's 2 coming up. And I know I might as well be sipping a pumpkin spice latte from a Stanley Cup on my way to Pilates listening to T-Swift, because here, I'm basic. The best has to go to The Dark Knight.
You basic.
I'm not saying it's my favorite Batman film. I mean, it's not even my favorite of the trilogy. But I do believe that your favorite can be different of what the best is. And The Dark Knight is the best. I mean, it's a phenomenal story that's, it's good versus evil, but it kind of blurs the line. At times it even swaps sides. Like Two-Face is still painted as the White Knight, while Batman embraces all of the hatred that it comes with being the Dark Knight.
Not the hero we deserved, but the hero we needed. Nothing less than a knight. Shining.
Because he's the hero Gotham deserves. But not the one it needs right now. A Dark Knight.
It also deals with how to pivot from a plan when chaos gets thrown in there.
And here we go.
And the worst has to go to Batman and Robin for so many reasons.
7 million.
So this is where you hang out. Louder, come on, sing, sing, sing!
Good night.
The Batmobile. Very few vehicles are as iconic as the Batmobile. I mean, actually, is there even anything on par with it? This is one of the most coveted vehicles. For example, ever since my childhood, it has been a bucket list item of mine to drive, well, it was to own, and I found out what money meant, but to drive the 1966 Batmobile. But as far as the best, I mean, it has to go to 1989's Batman. This version essentially shaped, both figuratively and literally, all future versions of the vehicle. Too bad it didn't shape the very next version enough, though. The one in Batman Forever is hideous, no matter how much they tried to market it.
Gotham City heat wave breaks crime wave.
There's only one way to cool things down. The Super Soaker Batmobile from Laramie. Just pump it up and let it rip.
The villain casting in this was perfect. Just not the car or the Batsuits external aerials. I mean, the suit and cowl should strike fear into the hearts of criminals, but also functional in like a close quarter combat. And be protective. But do we, as fans, actually care about this functionality? No. Adam West was basically running around in a spandex Halloween costume, while other versions do have like an Iron Man level of assembly. Sometimes it comes in blue, sometimes black, sometimes gray. You've got little stubby ears, you've got long ears, but the best is Jim Lee's version that he used in Hush. This version was dark enough to be like the myth that lurks in the shadows, but also bright enough to be this like beacon of hope for Gotham citizens. And as for the worst, nope, it's not Batnips, or the next version of Batcaves. However, you're closer, you're getting warmer, should I say colder? Because the cold version in Batman and Robin was atrocious. I just don't understand the need for the weird highlights. So Arkham Origins took place on Christmas Eve. That suit was great. Batman video games. Now this category, I can make a whole video about. Probably even a series. Maybe a channel. Well, probably not a channel, that'd get pretty boring. But I think we all know that the best Batman video game is Arkham Knight. Here we are 9 years later, and it is still gorgeous. One of the best mechanics in that game was the Batmobile, even though we all know the one in Arkham Asylum looked way better. But they actually had an unreleased statue of this Batmobile that was supposed to be released with the game. I wasn't able to order it in time, so thankfully, but I got the second tier. In fact, I still have all of my statues from all of the Arkham games. I would like to give a runner-up here, though, and that would go to Lego Batman 2. The worst Batman game? Gotham Knights. Oh, what now? This is not a Batman game because Batman embarrassingly dies in the first few minutes, so it's actually a game that destroys the validity of the entire Bat family. Good thing the next category is Sidekicks. First, I guess we need to identify what the worst Batman game is. The whole Arkham series was pretty good. There's a new one coming out. Maybe Blackgate? But let's keep looking. Batman Begins actually not that bad. I remember playing this with my cousin. We stayed up way too late at my grandparents' house. Pretty fun, decent, great story. I wish they were still in business. I was actually tempted at one point to buy my own, but then I saw the cost. This one was actually pretty fire. Meh. I think we can go with this one. Batman Rise of Senzu. It was just kind of underwhelming. I was expecting more of a Batman Vengeance vibe, and it just honestly didn't.
This is a danger zone.
Alright, on to Sidekicks. Obviously, it should be Robin, right? Like Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo. But that would just disregard so many great sidekicks. And even if we did go with Robin, which Robin would we go with? Most of them even went on to be their own superhero. Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, Batgirl. But all in all, I think that we need to go with Dick Grayson's Robin, right? Like the original Robin. And the reason why is this is what paved the path for Batman to be a team player, ultimately allowing him to be on the Justice League. And the worst sidekick, probably should go with Azrael because, you know, he was a bit murderous. But have you seen the channel name? Let's go with Katana instead. I just never bought their dynamic. As a team up, fine. But as a sidekick, someone that Batman is like mentoring and helping out and like that person is aiding, I just never bought it. Even the story arcs with Harley made way more sense to me. TV shows. You would think after the 1966 classic TV series that there would have been a ton of shows. There's a couple, but they're really more features. Even after Batman 89's release, the TV shows were geared more towards children while the movies were aimed at older audiences. But do not disregard these children's TV shows. And we all know the clear winner here is Batman the Animated Series. I mean, but that's like saying the sky is blue or bears do in fact defecate in the woods. But this show and its voice actors just set this unreachable bar of excellence. I think a runner-up is necessary here, and that would go to Batman Brave and the Bold. Simply going back to that team player thing. This show just really demonstrated Batman's ability to team up with other heroes and collaborate with someone else in order to get the desired results. The worst? Beware the Batman. I mean, the art style, the story, the Batmobile, the sidekick, it was just all garbage. It did have a cool logo, but that was very misleading. Speaking of which, there have been so many logos and insignias and emblems. But what's the difference between these terms, you ask? Exactly. And instead of diving into this whole like, well, actually, causing you to click off the video, I'll just point out that you haven't clicked off yet, so Let's look at the differences of the symbols between a movie poster, one on the chest, and the call light, all of 1989's Batman. They all represent the same Batman of the same universe, but they're different. Some logos may contain text that says Batman, or a face, and that may be to differentiate like a trademarked character from just standard Halloween decorations. But I think the winner here is just the iconic Bat logo. And as for the worst, they recently made that decision very easy. Why is it so blocky? I did like the memes and everything, but this just looks like it should be the large screen on the Bat computer. I mean, that's really the only place I can logically think this would make sense, is in the Batcave, which is one of the most coveted possessions of Batman, right? This huge underground space full of technological advancements and vehicles. Maybe that's what kind of inspires the man cave of today. However, that's probably more just an excuse to drink beer and watch sports. Not as much as investigating criminal activity at night. Just like the cars and the suits, there have been several versions of the Batcave over the years, in comics, in movies, games, shows, even toys. But the best has to be in the comics. And it's the New 52 into the Rebirth era. It just had a good balance between tech and cave, but still kept all of the iconic keepsakes. Jim Cheung actually captured it perfectly with the everything for your Batcave that DC had with Amazon. And the worst, The Dark Knight didn't get everything right. I mean, what is he, shooting a music video here? Especially since the first movie had a very good Batcave. I understand that the house burned down, but they even promised to have a better Batcave. I also understand that this is more of an off-site Batcave that's under Wayne Enterprises.
Be nice when Wayne Manor's rebuilt. You can swap not sleeping in a penthouse to not sleeping in a mansion.
But Arkham Asylum got an off-site Batcave, right? He was even able to upgrade some gear in that cave. And I mean, how could Batman fight all the crime he does without his utility belt? This thing has everything, and what it doesn't have, a vehicle provides him. The best gadget here is obviously the Batarangs. Not just because they're cool and bat-shaped, it's probably his most iconic, but because in nearly every instance, they're just unlimited, just infinite ammo. He packs a few to leave the cave, doesn't have to retrieve any of the ones he throws, and yet he still keeps throwing them. The worst should be one of the versions where Batman has a gun. I'm gonna go with the Oceanic Repellent Spray. When you have a Batman movie open up with Batman gut punching a shark and asking for the shark repellent bat spray, then Robin needs to hang upside down to hand it to you, causing the shark to explode. What the heck was going on? I mean, the 60s were completely drug-free, right? All right, let's jump into the animated movies. You've got the BTASU, you've got the DCAU, you've got the Lego DCU, you've got the Elseworlds U. As for the best, I think Mask of the Phantasm held it for a long time. And then Under the Red Hood came out, geared for older audiences. But currently, the Lego Batman movie holds the title. Not to be confused with Lego Batman the movie. Yeah. Anyways, Lego Batman the movie. Dang it, no. The Lego Batman movie. Yes, the Lego Batman movie, Will Arnett, is still one of our go-to movies to watch on Batman Day.
Exactly. All right, guys, till I get back, Rope's in charge. Thanks, Rope.
I'm Batman-ing.
I'm Batman. I'm awesome. I got a 9-pack. I'm awesome.
And the worst, probably Batman and Harley Quinn. It was like this weird twist on Batman the Animated Universe, but it just made some unnecessary decisions. It was almost like watching Arrested Development when it came back. Loved the previous show, then you ruined a lot of the characters. I do like Bernadette better than Penny, and if you've seen my wife on here, you probably can guess why. But who would have thought that Penny would be a better Harley than Bernie? Now, while the movies we talked about have good story arcs and the shows have good subplots, there's nothing on the source material. That's right, the comics are truly where it's at. You got Batman teaming up with the Justice League in New 52. You've got Batman and the Catwoman romance in Rebirth. But Batman Incorporated is the one that takes the prize. There's already a few like retirement stories of like, okay, Batman's done being Batman. What happens? You see that in Batman Beyond where he recruits Terry McGinnis. You see that in Kingdom Come where they bring him out of retirement. You see it in Dark Knight Returns. But in Batman Incorporated, he essentially hires a different Bat hero for every region around the globe. So he went from solo to team player to now running teams all over the planet. And for the worse, Batman metal. Listen, with Halloween coming up, I know that the image of the Batman who laughs is going to be everywhere. There's going to be additional sales in Fortnite for the skin. But having a story where so many of the Batman across the multiverse all get corrupted just sucks. I mean, this is supposed to be a hero. This is supposed to be someone that uses fear for good. And for that many to be corrupted, I can't get on board. I read the whole series. I enjoyed reading the whole series. It was a good Elseworld series. I just never for once thought it was Batman. It was Joker the whole time. They kind of did that with Arkham Knight, and I was super nervous how they were gonna end that story, which they did it well. The Batman who laughs, no, he became Joker. He did not stay Batman. All right, let's move on to cameos. Now, I'm not gonna count stories where he's one of like the main focuses, like in the Justice League or Scooby-Doo or the Lego Movie, Wacky Races, Batgirl. Too soon? Actually, let's not worry about the best or worst of the cameo stuff. Let's just find some that he made the movie better, or in some cases bearable. Suicide Squad. Not the best movie, but not nearly as bad as people try to make it out to be. But the Batman scene was pretty entertaining. Space Jam 2 was meh, but seeing Batman in the background, pretty cool. You can see him at the beginning of Ready Player One.
You can climb Mount Everest with Batman.
Just didn't know that was gonna be the only scene I really liked in Ready Player One. Look, plenty of you probably loved the movie. I'm willing to bet that you probably didn't read the book first. And if you did, you didn't care for it. Or there was enough time between reading it and watching the movie. It was one of my favorite books of all time. Stoked they made a movie. Saw Batman at the beginning and be like, this is gonna be amazing! But Kevin Conroy showed up in Arrowverse and played a live action version of Batman. I didn't care for how like the portrayal was like written, but we got to see Kevin play Batman. Now, there have been many portrayals over the years, causing us to ask ourselves exactly who is Batman. Well, lucky for you, we already have a video on that, answering that exact question. Hey, thanks for watching. Until next time, same Bat time, same Bat channel. Gave us our first Red Hood minifigure, along with the matching